Thank you, Sarah.
All right. Welcome to the Finally Has a Name podcast. Really excited that I finally committed to a name, and that is The Art of Life, Liberty, and Happiness. So today we've got a special guest on. This is Ryan Romero, aka Brian Bromero.
Hey, I'm not Brian yet.
That's his drunk alter ego. So Ryan, tell me a little bit about yourself and all of your 9,000 podcasts that you have.
Well, Christine, first and foremost, thanks for having me on here. The moment you said you were doing a podcast, basically what I said is, why haven't you been doing a podcast thousands of years ago? Like you're built for podcasts. You're built for podcasts more than I am. Just so you know.
Oh, that's sweet.
So if you want a podcast every week, I'm down. I got it. Well, you're gonna have a mixture, all kinds of good stuff. But let's see. Your question was my 9,000 podcasts. I only have two. One's a sports show, but I've been doing podcasts with B Movies and Beyond with my good high school buddies since, I've known them since middle school, Evan and Peter. B Movies and Beyond. We talk about shitty movies on Netflix. We talk about current events, comic book movies, just whatever I want to talk about. Really, it's nice because it's my outlet. I think we've known each other for how long? What, since 2009, maybe?
No, 2012 is when I moved to Colorado.
2012. So we can get into, this could be a whole nother episode, how we know each other, but fate brought us together.
Speaking of, hold on, I just had a memory. I don't think the listeners are ready for this yet, but they're going to hear it anyway. Do you remember that birthday party I had where I decided that I needed to there was 30 people. We had a dinner. We had a whole area section off for my birthday. And I went through and decided I need to explain to everybody, not going up one person at a time, but in front of the room, got everyone's attention, had to tell everybody how I knew each person and why they were special to me. You remember when I did that?
That was at the Tiki Bar, wasn't it?
It was at Mezcal.
Yeah. Okay. Mezcal. Yes. I remember. Okay. So you're
is she really doing this right now?
But that's what you're good at. You're getting people together. You do really well with big crowds of people. And do you remember when you hosted an event at my shop? And when I say my shop, it's this background is kind of bland, but we're making this nice. It's Drives a Mile High. It's my exotic car rental company. We'll dive into that a little bit more in this. But Christine, you were my inspiration of what to do with getting people together and enjoying these cars and enjoying what we do, because not a lot of people. That was so fun. We had people together. We had our heart-to-heart talk. We were able to mingle with each other. I'm going to make up words tonight, but I met some really good people that night, and it was all because of you were able to bring them together. And that's what I love about, number one, our relationship is you're as social, if not maybe more social than I am. And we just have that awesome balance. It's not a counterbalance. It's a perfect balance. And it's where are you? You're in Nashville?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you tell your listeners where you live. But,
I have 10 listeners right now and they're all my friends. So it's okay.
Okay. So they know where you live, however. But you lived in Colorado for a good part of your life. And I would say we shared 95% of that together. And I think you've elevated me to get out of certain ruts and certain things and really find a different focus on what I want to do with my passion. My passion, number one, was friends and family. I'm like the Vin Diesel. Everybody's like my friend and family in this business. And I just want to, I want family together. And that was my biggest thing. I didn't care about Subarus that much. I wanted to have my crew. I wanted to have my people, and I still want that. And I think that's where right now, that's where I feel
we need to pause for a second. So on September 24th at 5:36 p.m. Central Time, Ryan Romero said he didn't care about Subarus that much. I'm pretty sure that's a lie, but anyway,
If you would have asked Ryan Romero at 5:36 Central Time 8 years ago, he'd have been like, "What? Subarus are life." Matter of fact, I think Facebook just told me that same thing too. So no, it's a matter of who is in our life together and what we can do. I don't mean to keep on rambling. I can ramble all day long. I think it's part of my ADHD. So what do you want to talk about?
That's okay. Well, I would love to talk about Mile High drives or drives at Mile High. I always want to say Mile High drives. But before we get into that, I kind of want to hear about your journey a little bit of where, you just talked about working at Suba and the Subaru shop. So I'd love for the listeners to hear about your journey a little. So when Ryan and I met, Ryan was working at this place called Suba Performance. So tell me a little bit about that journey and how it led you to where you are today.
Okay. So I always say this, that my life would be completely different if I picked up a Tacoma, which I was about to buy a Tacoma. I played Gran Turismo and I saw a rally car and I wanted a Subaru. Then my brother was trying to sell me his Tacoma and my dad said, no, you buy the Subaru that you want. I ended up going with the Subaru and then I met my forever friends. We have mutual friends. I can list them off: Troy, Ty, Magoo, Taco, Justin, Aubrey, Christine. It was a crew. It developed into an actual business. We kind of like stumbled into a business, Troy was amazing mechanic with Subarus. We had the passion, but ultimately it turned into a career for me. I was going for digital design and making graphics for companies and corporations. That was my passion, right? However, I didn't care about it. Honestly, I didn't care about making, waste management graphics and flyers and brochures. That was so boring and monotonous to me. And I said monotonous properly, not monogamous, like what you always do. Inside joke. But everything I've ever done, Christine, like even for my first job where I was at Zoomies, it was my passion. I love skateboarding. I love, my first day ever working, I was shooting fireworks with Bam Margera. I love telling the story of that.
I've never heard that story.
Oh, that's my first day of work ever. I was 16 years old. I was at Southwest Plaza couch tour, and my main boss said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I don't know. It's my first day." And he goes, "Go babysit Bam." And I said, "Okay." And he had a broken arm, and we were shooting fireworks at people. It was the coolest thing ever.
That's amazing.
But I've always kind of found myself in like the right place, kind of right time kind of thing. I'm ready for, sorry, I just gotta, work never stops for me. That's the thing. I've tried to stop, like figure out what my turn off point is. When can I turn off work? I never figured that out, but it's because I made everything I did. My passion was always my career. Like I always worked on Subarus. I love Subarus. I love rally. I love just the history and the family behind it. And then when it came into, when Suba fell, like the empire, I want to say it was like an empire, we had something so good. Everybody was so passionate except for our fearless leader. He had no passion for it. And I've called him out on it. We don't have to do it here, but he's still one of my very good friends, one of my very good mentors of things, what to do and what not to do. Mostly what not to do. But it led me to...
I can attest that that's true. and we say that in a loving way. Like he's just a free spirit.
He's an absolute free spirit. And that's what led him to get away from what his passion was and move on to his next one. I mean, if he could be riding mountain bikes all day long, he would do it, but that's neither here nor there. Where I'm at now. Okay. I was at Suba for, 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. And I was in the trenches, Troy kept on calling me the face. Like I had to be customer facing. I had to give him bad news. And I started to despise that. It was no longer fun building cars with people is more calling people to let them know that their engine's blown up or they need a service or they neglected certain things. And, I was lost for a moment. I was like, well, maybe I want to work for Tesla because what bad news can I give people? Oh, you need a software update? You need wheels? You need brakes? Okay, cool. So I tried so hard to work with Tesla and I almost got there. I ended up working with BMW of Denver downtown. And Christine, I was fucking miserable. I was dealership life. It was 6 a.m, 8 o'clock at night. And I really started to lose what I loved about cars. And cars are the reason I stopped going to college. Like, and it wasn't the mechanical sense. It was the family aspect. I really felt like we had a true family together, and I can bring that together with people who can experience cars and still love them. That's where Mile High Drives came. My good friend Carlo, he had the business since 2012, and he called me multiple times and, hey, can you help me run these rallies, these tours? Can you help me deliver this car? Can you help me with this, that, and that? So I was doing stuff on the side, and I started realizing I could do this day in, day out. So hired me on as I was working for BMW. BMW was giving me the runaround, and long story boring, ultimately I was an employee. Then he was looking to sell the business. I took my brother on a tour with brother and father, Roman and Dwayne. And then, soon after, Carlo was talking about selling the business. So we found the opportunity to buy the business. So we bought it out with a transition of inventory, movement, and growth. I mean, like, the idea wasn't buying the business. The idea was, how can we grow this business? And it wasn't just the exotic cars. It was more so what to do in Colorado, because Colorado is, I mean, you don't see it behind me, but we have the most beautiful mountains. We have the most beautiful weather. 2021 was terrible because of all the smoke and the smog. But I mean, we pay a tax to look at beautiful mountains, and a lot of other places don't experience that. So Mile High Drives became Drives at Mile High. It was an easy transition. I didn't want to confuse people too much, because I understand that you still need to have your clientele and your fan base. You and I have talked about this many times. I mean, you and I have had plenty of marketing or strategy conversations just as friends. I mean, we've never really gotten to a business sense of it, but more so the passion for it. You're very passionate about marketing and branding yourself and growth and spiritual growth. And I absolutely believe in everything that you've ever said to me about that. And I think that's why you and I stuck so close, near and dear with each other. I mean, do you remember the day we were sitting in the computer and you were like, hey, Instagram's a good way to promote? And you and I had an actual conversation. Everybody else around us was mocking the situation.
This was at the beginning of, summer of 2012. And Instagram wasn't like popular yet. It was kind of just getting known. And there was like those, 10 stock filters that came on the app back then.
Oh my gosh. And they were all those retro and vintage, and everybody had the same shit. They were like
not good filters. And it was some people kind of like trickling over from Facebook to try a new thing, but it wasn't big yet by any means. And I remember we were sitting at the shop, I think, and I was like, I feel like this is going to be like the next big thing, like Facebook ads. I feel like they're going to start advertising on this, and it's going to be a good platform for marketing. And somebody, I don't remember who else was with us, but they were like, that's dumb. Like, that's not going to happen. And I mean, look at Instagram today. I can tell you Instagram has taken a lot of my money from advertising to me so well. And I'm like, ooh, I like that dress. Ooh, I like those shoes. They got me dialed in, and I buy stuff that I don't need from their ads.
I'm wearing a shirt. Klein makes fun of me because I'm wearing a built shirt, BYLT. And he goes, what, is that your Facebook shirt? And I said, no, it's my Instagram shirt. I don't buy this off Facebook. However, this is one of the best fitting shirts I've ever worn in my entire life. So the fact that Instagram works and you caught it so early, I mean, I was almost to the point of doing ads. Well, I was promoting the business through Instagram. Do you remember?
I do. Oh, you know what? I just remembered. Remember, this was before influencers was like that kind of, or meant what it means now. And remember that VUCA energy drink? I don't even know if it exists anymore. And like I'd met a rep and they gave me a bunch of swag. And I like stood in front of one of the Suba rally cars and took pictures with their stupid energy drink and swag and put it on Instagram. And that was when everyone made fun of me. They're like, that's not what Instagram's for. Like, that's not going to be a thing. And I'm like, I'm telling you it is. So yeah, but you and I were always like right on the same page of just like seeing, oh yeah, this is going to be a good marketing thing. Like this is what we need to be doing for branding. And I feel like we've always been on that page with strategy and that stuff. So,
and well, you know, you and I always, we always dial back into how we can market ourselves or be better. But one thing I've always appreciated about you, Christine, was you've been able to dial it in, how it makes you feel as a person and how it connects with you. So even though that you're in, you know, Tennessee right now, which I have some bad blood in Tennessee, but I also have some really good blood in Tennessee. You know, I have some amazing friends over there. You're so many miles away from me. I still feel that connection anytime you and I call or talk or send silly memes. Like it's just that when we're on the same page, and I just think I'm lost for words right now. What basically I'm trying to say is because of our conversations and our growth, I've been able to build the business for my own personal selfish reasons, but I'm going to build myself and I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that next step of like, hey, you know what? Do I want to be an influencer? No. But do I want to get myself out there more? Yes. I have that personality type, and I've been tied down to so many people who have held that back from me. And I'm to be honest with you, I'm tired of it. Like it's not worth that mental drain that these insecure people have brought to me, you know? And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do with Drives a Mile High. You know, I don't want to be on TikTok doing stupid dances, but I want to really have families come in and know and experience why these cars can bring joy into your life. You know, I just had a family come back with my Porsche, and the guy just told me one of his stories where he lost his license because he had an 81 911 Carrera, and he needed to experience that again. So that's what Drives a Mile High is. It's not the exotic car rental company of Denver, Colorado, even though we are the best one. It's the experience. And that's what I want to bring to the table. And it's because I'm homegrown. I love this place. You know, I'm not leaving Colorado. And I like how I really said Colorado. That was a pretty good one.
You really like elongated the rad. Colorado.
It is pretty rad. And I miss you. I mean, I know that you have everything going in Tennessee, but it's I feel like Colorado like encompasses you as well.
Well, heck yeah. I mean, there's planes, and I've been back there a bunch of times already this year. I mean, a lot of it's been for work, but I'm finally going back for play next month, a few weeks. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, that's the nice thing is like one of the things that I've done. And I feel like this recording so far is a lot of like us talking just about ourselves, but I hope that people can extrapolate some of this to their own experiences too. But, you know, when you move, it doesn't mean like you have to be permanently in whatever area. Like one thing I've been really influenced by over the last few years is meeting people, and like they've got properties in multiple locations, and even if it's like multiple properties right in Denver, right, and they rent them out, but it's that strategic real estate so that you buy stuff where, you know, you can Airbnb it or rent it or whatever you need to do. And then you have a property, you know, that you can use eventually if you need to, or, you know, make money off of. So my idea is that eventually I get, a second place somewhere in the mountains, and can use that as like a vacation rental, but then also like I can use it when I want. And I mean, shoot, I'd love to have a like beach or island place eventually too. And that's, that's the goal. That's what I'm striving for. I don't want to feel like I need to be stuck in one spot and limited.
As you shouldn't.
Big world.
I mean, as much as I say I want to live here the rest of my life, I would love for Colorado to support me to live in somewhere else. I would love to live in Seattle. Seattle's my next spot. I mean, I'd love to live in Montana. I think it's beautiful over there, so I agree. Yeah, I agree with you that the next step is, we're in our 30s. I don't know if you want to tell how old, but
I don't care how old people know I am.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the next step. If your friends aren't supporting you, and if their goal isn't to see you grow, they're not truly your friends. Your friends want to see you grow. They want to support you. They want to encourage you to make those decisions, those moves. They don't want you to, party, doing drugs, stuff like that. That was never in my mindset. My mindset was always beyond that. So when I was around the people who were in that mindset, I didn't want to stay friends with them for a long time, if that makes sense,
No, it does. I feel like it's important to call out the balance of that too. So it's like, there's, times where it's fun to party, and like I've had so many great times partying with my friends and everything, but I also feel like it's like knowing when to draw the line. And I always say this about like my friends that do party quite a bit, like they might party a lot, but like then they are they're so good at adulting too. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, how do you do both like that? I like to go and have some drinks and hang out with people, but like I'm not a good partier. Like I suck at staying up late, and I just don't go hard. Cause I cannot do both, cause then I won't function after. And I prefer to like, let me go for a hike tomorrow, or like get some work done or study or whatever. So I need to be able to do both. But like, I have friends that they can like party super hard, and then they're like taking care of their kids, and they like are like kicking ass in work during the week, and they like get all these things done, and it's incredible. So I totally get what you're saying. It's like when you start hanging out with people and then it's like the only thing on their mind is partying, and it's like there's not much else. That's when you kind of start getting in a rut, and you have to decide whether it's a healthy situation for you to be in or not. Because unfortunately and fortunately, like it's very much true. It's cliche, but it's true that people that you surround yourself the most is you take on a lot of those values and habits and things like that, because it starts becoming normalized for you. So it is important to like kind of choose how you're spending your time. It doesn't mean you have to like hate people and just completely cut them out of your life and not talk to them. But, you don't want to necessarily like spend every weekend with somebody that's not supporting your growth, or like, supporting you to be your best self, if that's what you want to be.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, I guess my biggest example with that is, the Denver art community and the Denver art scene. I mean, there's so much drama back and forth between it, but I've been able to isolate and help my good friend Jeremy. He has a studio, Dateline, and I'm so proud of him for being in the New York Times. He's hosted amazing shows. I've seen photography with Andy Warhol, Mick Jagger, like tons of celebrities from these artists come into Jeremy's place.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know about all this. That's
his last,
wild.
his last show. Me too. But here's the thing: some of his other friends just focus on the party and the let's get together. So like when I I met up with him last night and we had some pizza at Cart Driver. I love Cart Driver. You know what I found about
there? Where's that?
It's off fucking Larimer Street, and it's like it's in an old shipping container. But it's oven fired pizza. I had sardines and bread with like it felt like true Italian style pizza. I had some beer with Fernet. Have you ever had Fernet?
Uh-uh. Wait, what is
A little hipster ass pizza place. Let's just kind of dial it in.
Well, all right. I want to go the next time I'm in town. I think that's a must.
We should go there. Yeah, I'll take you there because they have an awesome happy hour at 10 o'clock. So that's a spot for us to go. It's an experience. And then Jeremy lays a bomb on me and he goes, "Hey, do you remember so-and-so from high school?" And I said, "Yeah, I remember kind of that name." He goes, "He's the one who started this." And that's right there. I just started seeing like, okay, these are the people that I connected with in high school and grew with. And this is where we're at. We're starting businesses. We're having fun. You know, we're grounding ourselves in this state. And it's not just like the 20-year anniversary. It's the, hey, no, you're doing well. I'm doing well. We're having fun. It's no longer, you know, it's not the cliche Biff who is still wearing the leather jacket and he's partying like crazy. That's where like Christine, you and I have had that entire connection. You know, we've talked about important life. I've talked to you every single day. During a deep, dark point in my life, and you brought me out of every moment of that. And that's where I guess what I really want to say is it goes back to the friends and family who uplift you. And that's where I still do this, what drives it mile high. This is, I mean, like my radio show back here. I created this logo. Yeah, it's a little ripoff of the Rockies, but whatever. I have a sports radio show on a radio station. I never thought I would do that. I've met Denver Broncos players. I've had so much fun in my entire life. You know, I had a text message the other day that says, "I'm sorry, I work during the day. I don't just get to drive around fancy cars and take photos." And I responded, I said, "That is my work. That is
Wow.
work. I have to do that so I can promote myself."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, what else? I mean,
I'm sorry to hear that you experienced that the other day. That's something too. I think a lot of people, first of all, it's like you shouldn't get looked down upon because you've built something that you enjoy, one, and like two, it has been a dream for you and you are combining your passion with, you know, something that makes you a living and, you know, a good living. I think that gets looked down upon sometimes, but one thing I've learned, like with my, I don't know, personal development and like spiritual journeys is like, you will get that, but it's got nothing to do with you. It has to do with, you know, somebody else. It's like they're hitting an edge for themselves.
Agreed.
And I feel like jealousy is a very, it's not a good way to describe it. It's like not, it's not the right term. I feel like that's too simplistic. It's more like it being outside of their realm of belief of what's possible. So then it like can bring up some resentment, and it's not resentment at you. It's like what it is. It's them seeing this thing that's possible and like realizing that they want some of that, but like not really necessarily knowing how to get to that next step. So then when it comes off as like, I don't know, anger or resentment towards you, it's really not directed towards you. It's almost like directed at themselves of like frustration. Like how do I find that thing that it lights me up and, you know, so I can feel like I'm driving around race cars and taking pictures of them every day. You know, what's that for me? And so you just got to kind of like let it roll off your back sometimes.
Can I tell you something? That's not the highlight of my day. Like that's actual, it's actual work. It's long, boring.
Oh, for sure.
Like, there's so much other stuff I can be doing during that time. You know what's fun to me? Is this. This is fun to me. I love talking with people. I love talking with my friends, and I love talking with my friends about current events and sports and movies and stuff like that. So I told, you know, Peter and Evan, after we recorded, I said, "You guys make my Wednesdays the best day of the week. I look forward to Wednesdays because I could sit back, be with my friends, and talk some shit about whatever I want to, you know." And and you know, they always say if you make your hobby and your passion your work, you kind of lose it.
I experienced that with dance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You always went out to go dance, and you always I always saw you doing salsa dancing and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I was building cars. Those were our two things at the same time. And I did not have the energy for it anymore. And there's always, I look at these cool cars over here and I love them, but I can't touch them. I can't modify them. I can't make them my own. I have to make them. So the next step is, you know, the overland stuff, I have to outfit them. So that's my excitement. I get to outfit something cool, you know, and I get to start exploring and doing stuff like that. That's what I love. And I'm getting back into it that way. And, you know, my gears are turning. Like, let me fix and flip some Subarus, some Jeeps, some 4Runners. Let's outfit them. Let's make the Colorado car. Let's give the Colorado experience. I found, you know, in my mind, I found multiple ways to tie this together. That's the next step for me, for my excitement. You know, I mean, the car rental thing is awesome. I love when people come back and they're like, oh yeah, I had a great time, you know, kind of schmooze them a little bit. And then you're like, okay, cool. Now I'm going home. Like, I want to go out with these people. I want to go hunting, fishing, get back into snowboarding. Christine, that was the biggest thing for me. Like, I never went snowboarding when I knew you, but that was one of my biggest passions. I love going to the mountains and just being by myself and riding down the hill. But I never did that because I broke my ankle. I haven't yet, but my entire goal of my health and my well-being was so I can get back on a board. Right. And that was another journey myself. December December of 2019, I went through a terrible breakup. I was on my lowest point. You know, business was getting tough. I'm a seasonal fucking business. Like, November and December, I'm not letting a Lamborghini out in the middle of a snowstorm, you know? Right. So I got a lot of free time. So I needed to shift and figure out how to get myself out of this rut. You know, I was moving and I was unhealthy. I was not healthy at that point. I was, you know, I enjoyed too much whiskey and bourbon and I was gaining a lot of weight and I just wasn't me. It was not good. Man, this is like a therapy session. I love it. But this ties together. I was deep in my own personal health, my mental state, and my business. Everything was going down. But it was the gym. It was going and getting that routine and bettering myself and starting to, like, you know, early in the morning, wake up, go push yourself. And it's so fucking cliche, but it works. I get excited to go to the gym. I don't wake up and dread it. I get excited. I see results. I've lost weight. I have muscle mass. I look good, feel good, like 21 Jump Street, you know, movies. Look good, feel good. And it's so true. It's so true. You know, I watch my friends do it every single day. You know, Phil, Matt, sometimes Seisha, he got a little chubby, but
that's
Brennan, rude. Not really. But it took 2 years. It took a change in your mindset, and it took every time I go to the gym, it gives me a moment to have clarity to focus on the things I need to do for the business, for my personal being, and my spiritual side. You know, do you get these updates? Do you get these updates like this week? It's like, oh, there's going to be a big positive shift in energy in the career change.
Do you still have the pattern on your phone?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, I deleted it because it was like screwing up my phone at one point, and then I just never downloaded it back. But I have a human design app. Have you ever heard of human design?
Mm-mm.
So it's my new woo-woo thing that's interesting to me. It's not, I'm not like full bore into it. But you know me, if I'm interested in something, I want to learn all about it. So I've certainly been learning about it. And basically it's based off of a combination of all these different, like, ancient, not religions. Like, what would you loop astrology into? It's not like a religion or a philosophy, but like a tool of divinity, I guess. So I know there's like stuff from the Cabal and some sort of like Chinese, I don't know what it is, but like something that's ancient Chinese. And it's all these things that are mixed together. but it works kind of like astrology, where you use your birthday, your time, where you were born, all of that. And it pulls up, let's see if I can screen share because it's Zoom, right?
Yeah.
So let me pull up a thing here. My human design.
Sorry.
It's pretty nifty. So basically it's like I forgot that people are listening and they're not going to be able to see.
Okay, there you go.
So it pulls up like a chart, and it shows a body, and there's these different places in the body, and they're kind of like, it like uses like the chakra system sort of, but not really. And it basically like it tells you your type. So there's 4 different types, I think. There's the generator, the manifester, the manifesting generator, the projector, and the reflector. So 5 types. And the vast majority of people are generators. That's what I am. And then the least common is a reflector, and it has to do with like which of your energy centers are open and closed. And so with your type, it like helps you understand how to navigate, what is for and what is not for you. So basically like, for generators, your self, which is something that's for you, versus your not self, would be satisfaction versus frustration. So if you're feeling like super frustrated by something, then that means it's like at the end of the day, it's just not something that's for you. But if you're feeling satisfied by something, that means that it's something that you should like continue down that path, because it's giving you energy, it's fueling you. Because generators, their responsibility is to basically like find things that light them up, because it gives them more energy. And then they bring that positive energy and like that doing and productivity, and they share it with the world. Are you looking yours up right now?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that's why generators, like they say to, you should be doing something that lights you up and gives you energy, because then you're basically doing more of a service to like those around you and to the greater good. So this is my chart. I'll upload this to YouTube at some point. So basically, like you'll see light colored centers, and those are open energy centers. And then the ones that are tan or colored in, depending on like what website you're using to pull up your chart, those are closed energy centers. And that stuff gets super deep. But the first thing to understand is what your type is. And that gives you your self versus not self, which is for generators, it's satisfaction, frustration. For projectors, I think it's like, I know bitterness is the not self. I forget what the other one is, but it's like they're all kind of similar, and just helps you know if you're on the right path or not. And then it tells you your strategy. So for generators, your strategy is responding to something. So it's like generators aren't the ones that just like usually pop an idea out of nowhere. It's more like if you're given a few choices, like being able to respond to those choices, or like respond to something and make it better. And then your profile is another one. So profile is 2 numbers with a slash. So mine's 3-5, the Great Life Experimenter. And then you can use that to learn about yourself. So anyway, we won't deep dive into all those things, because it's like, apparently you can like study it for years or something, but it's pretty nifty.
You and I have a lot of things that are very similar.
What's your type?
I'm a generator.
Okay.
My strategy is responding. My authority is sacral.
Sacral. Yeah, mine's the same. So that means that sacral authority. So generators can be, and sorry, I'm not for other people that are other types. I'm not talking about your type. I just don't know as much about them, but generators can be either a sacral authority or an emotional authority. So sacral authorities, it's like you go off of gut feeling. Basically, it's like somebody can tell you something and you just kind of know whether it's right for you or not. They're like, and it's usually better if they give you 2 choices. Like, do you want Mexican food or do you want sushi? And you're like, I want sushi right now. But if they're like, what do you want to eat? You're like, I don't know. like as soon as you get the choice, like, yes or no, if you want something. So that's a sacral authority. An emotional authority, somebody that needs a lot more time to think about something, because their emotions are a little bit like, I don't want to say their emotions are stronger, because it doesn't mean you're more emotional per se, but your emotions can influence your decision more. So they say to wait like almost like a month before making a very serious decision if you're an emotional authority, because you need the time to mull it over and make sure like you don't have emotions influencing your decision.
That sounds like a lot of girls I've dated. What do you want to eat? A month later, they'll tell me.
Yeah.
I speak lightly on that just because that's who I am. I always find a way to do something where I kind of do something sarcastic or whatnot. And that's the strange thing. Not a lot of people appreciate that kind of humor or that mindset. So I hate when I have to dial myself back, like you just talking about this. I understood what you're talking about. And I'm actually reading about myself, and I'm intrigued because I want to see what makes me tick. And I feel like this is stuff that makes me tick, and how I can kind of put a entity to it, or a personification to it,
So she has an app now. The woman that made the website I just showed you, Hobbs, just sneezed into a box, and like it freaked him out because the box moved.
Just good old Hobbs.
So anyway, her name's Jenna Zoe. And so so the website was myhumandesign.net. I think it was, I closed it.
Yes.
myhumandesign.com. And then she just made an app, which I think the app itself is called My Human Design. And so you can go in, and she has audio recordings for all the different, like those different things that I was just explaining. So you put in your birthday and pull up your chart, and the audio recordings are all the ones that relate to you. And then if you do the paid version, which is like $5 a month or something, it goes even deeper into them. So if you do like the $5 the one time, then you can listen to all of them.
$5 to listen to all that.
Yeah.
See, I'm getting to the point when I was younger, if it was like a paid something, I'd be like, nope,
You're
not
like,
doing
nah.
it. Nah. But now I realize that it's worth it to pay for that stuff, because in this world, everything is very media driven. And, if you want good shit, it's not free.
Right. Or it takes a really long time to accumulate all the information through all the free stuff and sift and sort. And yeah. I
mean, I agree why content creators want a Patreon, or hell, an OnlyFans, I mean, that's a true thing. Why some of these creators want to get paid for what they do. It's how to monetize on this stuff for the benefit of helping it grow. You're fresh into podcasting. I've been doing, I just did my 250th episode on B Movies and Beyond.
Oh my gosh. By the way, I've been on 2 episodes of B Movies and Beyond. So if you guys like B movies or just listening to hear people go off on squirrel tangents and really just rant about anything, check out B Movies and Beyond on all the podcast stations. You have it on like Spotify and stuff too.
It's on. So we had to change all the podcast stations. Yeah, we had to change the name on Spotify. So it's B Movies with the and sign, Beyond with 3 exclamation points. However, due to marketing and branding, I found out if you have the exclamation points or the and sign, you are less likely to be found.
No.
So I had to find. So the way to find us on Spotify, which I don't know how I found this, but if you type in cat butthole, you'll find.
Do you have an episode named that or something?
We have an episode. I think I went on like a 40-minute rant about cat buttholes, and it was that stupid fucking movie with cats, like the live action cats, and how they had to CGI cat buttholes out of the actors. So that's what that podcast is about, is the little things that you find in the middle of movies. And for a while I had cool titles, but Peter took them away from me, and now they're like episode 150, 250. I had amazing titles, and I'm kind of
the title of the first one I was on was Not My Problem.
Yeah, not my problem. And it's fun because it's like in the middle of the podcast, it's something I said or something one of the co-hosts said that made us laugh. And that's like, that's the title. That's in the middle of it. And I do the sound effects and I'm the mixer or producer or whatever. I don't know why they gave me control, because I'll do any sound effect whenever I want, and it disrupts the show. I'm surprised I haven't done it today. I mean,
wait,
I'm
do you
close.
have the mixer in front of you right now?
Oh yeah, I do. It's my old mixer. It's not my new one. Oh, you want to hear a pew pew sound? Let me connect the phone over here. Christine's like, no, don't do it, Ryan.
Ben always does the air horn, the pew 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 pew, whatever they're called.
So yeah, we have some good ones, and I even have my own soundboard. Like if you look at my phone over here, look, there they are, right there. B movies and BM. See, here's my favorite.
This is like a whole new level of. You do it again.
That's Peter, sexy. And then this new one.
I hate it when you're drunk.
That's more for Peter as well. And then this is my all-time favorite. I use this all the time.
It kind of like broke up, but that's a good one. That's the more you know, isn't it?
It's the more you know. So whenever we have an epiphany or like a good point on the podcast, it's the more you know. But Christine, like even this is what I encourage you to do with your podcast is let it grow, let it be natural, bring on whoever, call anybody, do multiple episodes, and just always like have some music, have some intro, outro, find sponsors, like have so much fun with this. Cause this is your hobbies can be your work. Like in my case, I'm going to speak for me. I love cars, but at the end of the day, when I look at a car, I look at it to make money for me. When I look at the podcast, yes, I can look at it as a way to monetize, but right now I'm just having so much fun with it. So just have fun with it. Be silly, be goofy, talk about the things you want to talk about. Like you just led me to a whole nother page of something to identify within myself versus horoscopes and
what was your profile, by the way? For
my profile.
The 2 numbers. Oh, did you already take it down? Oh, because you put on that sound effect panel.
I let's see what I have on my Google list. I have Nico Moon, Salon Flip Flops, and Ross Stores. Where is it? What happened here? Oh, it's the soundboards. Oh, I lost it, Kristen. I will pull it up for you when maybe you can post this as like your Instagram thing. I don't know why I was looking up Ross Flip Flops, but that's the other.
I guess you were looking for flip flops for the Not Beach at some point.
Yeah, and you know what? Sad story. I was supposed to be in California this week. I was so excited.
Oh, that's why you were looking for flip flops.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll tell you the actual story. Jeremy goes, "Hey, my girlfriend showed up with these prison flip flops," and I said, "Dude, she came back from getting her nails done." And he goes, "What?" And I showed him a photo, and he goes, "How the hell do you know that?" And I said, "Pedicures, man. Take care of yourself."
How do you not know that?
I'm a man. I have pedicures. What's new with you? How's your transition? How's Christine?
My transition.
Yeah.
Not that kind of transition. It's I'm looking out my balcony windows right now, and I've got the Cumberland River right outside my doors, and the sun is starting to go down. It's golden hour, and there's some nice hills in the background, so I'm enjoying that, and that's really pretty. And I'm trying to find new passions in Tennessee since my Colorado passions are not here. So that's been, it's like a stretch outside of my comfort zone that I wasn't, anticipating as much, I guess. I mean, maybe I was, but maybe not really. So, obviously hiking is like my big pastime generally. And then I've noticed that I need to maybe stop calling it hiking. So in Colorado, we picture hiking as one thing, and then in other places, hiking is pictured as something else. So I realize
whoa. Explain that, because
so basically what I should be saying is I really enjoy mountain climbing. Because what I like is I like being up on a peak. I like the challenge of getting up there to earn my view. I like being above everything and looking out on the things around me. Also, I love like canyons too. So I love Moab and all that kind of stuff. So I like, I guess, just like being up high and all of that. And then also like Rocky Mountains kind of hiking, you're like, it's almost like you're on another planet when you're up, above tree line, because it's different. It's a different ecosystem around you. There's different types of animals and plants. And it's like there's like the mountain scree everywhere. So all those like loose boulders that you're climbing over, and there's the little pikas and the marmots that hide in them. And there's mountain goats up there and bighorn sheep. And it's just like when you get away from the city to go there, it's like you're really going to a totally different place, right? Versus hiking here, it's more like it's walking through the woods. And it's not that it's not pretty, because it is. So like Tennessee has all these amazing waterfalls, like huge waterfalls. And that's what people usually hike to here. So it's still beautiful. And it can still be challenging depending where you go. And it's more like navigating like mud and like slippery hills and that kind of stuff, and like lots and lots of tree roots. And it's very, very lush and green. And there's all these crazy plants that I've never seen before that look like alien plants. So it's a very different feeling. It's not like hiking in Colorado is not the same as hiking here. So that's been kind of a transition for me, is learning to, instead of being like, well, it's not hiking a 14er or whatever. And I don't even really like 14ers that much. I like the challenge once in a while, but like whatever. Anyway, it's just different. It's like, there's like the bugs and the ticks, and it's humid and the mud. And it's just a very different experience. But what I found is it's cool, because it's like you're in a rainforest. So it's like a tropical hike. And it really is. It's what do they call it? A temperate rainforest. Out here, especially once you go over like the North Carolina, South Carolina border over there into the Blue Ridge Mountains. And it is a really cool ecosystem. It's different. So what I've been trying to do is embrace that more and find the joy in that, versus like, I can't go take a 6-hour drive and be in Moab for the weekend. So that's different. I don't know if you just heard the horn. There's party boats that go by my apartment. Party boats. Yeah. I call them the woo boats, because you like gradually hear woo getting louder and louder as the boat of bachelorettes comes by.
So the woo bus that's in Nashville has made it to boats.
Yep. There's woo boat. They call this one the pontoon saloon.
Fuck me.
Oh my God. The party buses are so bad here. Apparently somebody, and this is really sad, but apparently some guy was so drunk, he fell off, like, you know how they cut the tops off of them? He fell off the back of it and got run over recently. What? So yeah, like a few weeks ago.
I hate it when you're drunk.
Exactly. Yeah. The other thing, wait, I'm still talking about transition. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm still talking. The caves here, that's the next thing that I want to check out. So there's a lot of caves in the Southeast because of all the type of rock that's out here. And they're like crazy, like big caverns. So you can go on these spelunking tours. So that's what I'm trying to do in the next like month or so, is do one of these spelunking adventures, because they have like crazy like drop offs inside the caves, and you like climb like on ropes, and it's supposed to be pretty wild. So I'm excited about that, because that's a whole new adventure, and it's something I've always wanted to do, minus like thinking about the movie of The Descent and the creepy cave people that live down there. But I'm just gonna go with the fact that it was a movie and it's not real.
Well, Deliverance is a movie, and that was real. I
haven't seen that one. So you're saying I should not watch it before I go on the cave adventure?
I wouldn't, because Deliverance, I think, is about the Deep South, and it's about a bunch of indigenous hillbillies. And
indigenous? Did you say indigenous? Oh.
I did. Did I throw out my made up word? What was my made up word earlier?
Well, it wasn't made up. It was monogamous instead of monotonous.
No, the other one, genuinity.
Genuinity.
Yeah, I like that one. That's what I love. So you found a way to where you're living, identify the difference between actual true hiking in Colorado versus nature walking in Tennessee.
But I don't want to say that because it's like there's crazy hikes too, especially once you get up to the like Smokies and the Blue Ridge Mountains. Like I did some intense hikes over there. So I don't want to say it's not hiking. It's just what I was doing in the Rockies, like to delineate the difference is that was more like mountain climbing. It's like a niche of hiking, right?
So I agree with you. That's not what you're saying, but what I'm saying is Colorado's better and Tennessee is not. I like how the other day hey, what is there to do in Kentucky? Drink bourbon.
I heard there's a big rock climbing scene there. I heard there's lots of cool.
See, that's my point is like you, instead of just seeing that hiking is not as rock climbing as it is in this state, in Colorado, in this environment, you have found other outlets, going into caves, actually finding rock climbing, going out further and exploring more. And that's the best thing about you is you've been able to explore and you got to, you know, I've lived in the state my entire life. And I sat back one day, I was like, how am I not in the mountains every single weekend?
Right.
And it's just like, it's so dumbfounding to me. You know, why am I not going out hunting or fishing or just going to the dunes? Remember the dunes?
Yeah.
The dunes. We had a great time at the sand dunes, and that was my hometown. Like we were 20 minutes from the sand dunes where we could have camped, hiked, did whatever. And I lived there for a good, 7 years of my life. What the kind of shit is
like
that?
little, like, you know,
I know, but I should have, it helped me appreciate more of the Southern Colorado area than me just saying I'm a city boy and I don't care about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You know, I'm looking through social media today and Telluride's such a beautiful area. There's a car show going on over there. I mean, why am I not there? It's because I'm recording with you.
Don't put that on me.
Yeah,
you had a car return to just before we did this podcast. I don't want to.
He was supposed to show up 30 minutes from now. Let's see what else. I mean, Christina, I hope you grow this. What's the name of this?
The Art of Life, Liberty, and Happiness.
The Art of Life, Liberty, and Happiness.
Mm-hmm. I had to think about it for a second.
I like that.
It's going to be interesting to listen back to my very first podcast someday.
Oh, the first time I was on a podcast, I was afraid to hear what my voice sounded like. Now I understood what my role is. I'm not the one to give the information. I'm kind of the one to stop it abruptly. You know, on B movies, I'll say something and really just make the other guys like, why did you say that? You know, and same thing with the sports show. I don't have all the sports knowledge and I don't care to, but I will say rub a chub as a joke for our linebacker in the Broncos, you know? So I would say I'm more like, I hate to classify myself, but the comedic relief. Like I kind of like instigate things and make it funny and make it personable. And I mean, make it so when you're listening to this podcast, you feel like you're in the room with us and you want to talk with us. That's my ultimate goal. I want you to feel like you're my buddy.
Yeah.
And you're my buddy, Christine.
You are my buddy too. So you have. All right. This is a question that I want to ask, I think, all of my future guests. What is your definition or description of happiness right now at this current moment in your life? Like, not like 6:33 p.m., but like this period of your life.
What's my happiness? My description of it?
What is your definition or description of happiness right now in your life?
For me, I thought about this when I woke up this morning. I woke up about 7:00, and I always do a routine where like I'm on the point like 7:00, 7:15, 7:30. If I pass out, I do another 15 minutes. It's just my weird OCD. You do you. Like Ryan, you do you. And it's not do it for anybody else. You go in and you make every single day something that you want to do for you. And that's what creates my happiness. Today, I had no plan. It was Friday, and I sat back and I said, I don't know what to do today. Usually I'm like, I got to work. I got to do this. I got to do this. And I sat back and I said, nah, I'm going to do me. I'm going to relax. I'll do a little work, and I'm going to talk with you. And if I make money, awesome. If I don't, there's always tomorrow. So for me, my happiness is you do you. This comes from, forever. Everybody else told me, Ryan, you're always pleasing someone else. You're always like doing things for your significant other, your spouse. And I denied it up and down, but, maybe there's some truth to it nowadays. That's why I say you do you. You take care of you. And that's my happiness, is me taking care of myself.
Heck yeah. I like that. You got to fill your own cup first.
And I got to fill this cup because it's kind of empty. And there's no ice.
So how can people find you on Instagram, find your podcast, get a hold of you? Don't get a hold of you.
Do you want me to play the music I do for this? It's so good.
Yeah.
I actually have it. So hold on. Add music. This is my ad music. Great question. So my podcast is my number one thing. I love doing B movies and beyond. I talk about whatever movie I want to. I usually talk comic book stuff. I'm with my good friends. I love this. Next up, I do the Fan Cave. I think you can see it behind me. That's my sports radio show. It's on 98.1 FM. I have so many social medias. I have Romero 3160 is my personal one. I don't think I put something on there in a while. I have my business, Drives at Mile High. I have a B Movies Beyond. I have the Fan Cave. I still have Suba Performance. That's still
really
part of mine. Yeah. I'm ready to expand. So I'd love to just be here with a podcast.
What Ryan's saying is he's an Instagram influencer.
I'm the best. Summer Rae is in my DMs, just so you guys know. But this is what I want to keep on. I want to keep on doing this. So follow me on some podcasts. Follow me on some social media. I'll talk back with you. I'll talk cars. I'll talk movies. I'll talk whatever you want to. If you want to talk spiritual stuff, send me memes. I'll send them back. That's
wow. We didn't even end up talking about cars.
I know, right?
I totally thought we were going to go down that route today, and we did not.
You like how we transition out of that ad music? See, I'm so good at that.
Didn't even notice. Yeah. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on today. And it was great having you here, and I had a lot of fun.
I love it. I'll do this anytime. So if you need a guest, or if you want secondary co-hosts for another guest, I got headphones, I got a mic. We can do this anytime.
Heck yeah.